Welcome to NWA, the new season. That's the title of this video. Season 8 for Powerrr, Season 2 for USA. Now, before I get started, I just want to briefly say this, that I noticed something that, if I'm right, will explain a lot on why Powerrr, USA, NWA in total, as well as their pay-per-view, as well as when it comes to Impact, MLW. If I'm right, and I hope I'm not, and I'm going to hope you guys give me your opinion on this, if you see what I'm talking about, you will understand why certain things that's been going on for a while has been bad. Now, OGK versus the Briscoes. We're doing Powerrr first. It was a good match, and it's good to see that the team from the first match of the Crockett Cup goes up against the winners of the Crockett Cup. They got good chemistry, both guys. And that's the Briscoes and OGK. We know they do good work. They work for each other. Well, not work for each other. Well, when you see tag teams, you know one team is working to put the other one over and vice versa. You know this. And it was done well. I was not surprised the Briscoes won. There was no way they were going to lose to OGK. I'm sorry. No matter if you love them or you hate them, they just won the Crockett Cup. And they're the first people you see on the next season of Powerrr. There's no way they're going to lose. I knew it was going to happen. And there's nothing wrong with that, even if you do know, because you got a good match out of it. Now, we saw, we got a match between Murdoch and a jobber. I can't pronounce his name. Bashin, I believe that's his name. Bashin. I'm bad with names. This is what you get when you come to me. He was annihilated. When you see Trevor Murdoch, and he came out, I'm not putting no images in this video. This video is going up raw, guys. When you see a Trevor, he is just done. He's angry. He's finished. He whooped the ass of a Bashet. He whoops his ass. He doesn't sell for no shit. He don't care. Then he goes to the podium. And he makes it very, very, very clear. Are you not entertained? Take a little bit from Gladiator, Claudius Maximus, taking that little bit. If I'm correct, what is his name? Claudius Maximus? I can't remember his name. But pretty much, are you not entertained? Are you not fucking entertained? You guys pissed me off, he says. The NWA pisses me off. The way I've been treated has pissed me off. I'm not playing around anymore. I want what I want. I want my title. That's what he generally says. And it's a nice change from Trevor trying to be a good guy. This is a guy who's just flat out pissed off and he don't want to sell no more. He just want to hurt people. That's it. Now, will it work with everyone? No. Not a lot of people are going to like seeing Trevor. There's a lot of people who like Trevor as a face, and others who just don't like Trevor, period. So seeing him like this does not mean it's going to win them over. They're going to say, well, he's trying to be a badass, which at his age, being so damn fat, why do I care? Now, I'm not against about anybody being fat. I'm not too skinny myself. But there are wrestling fans, unfortunately, that feel that way. I'm just saying. Now, the weakest match was the Hex versus Genocide and Paula Blaze. And it seemed that Terrence Terrell wanted to light a fire under their asses, saying, I'm going to Billy. I'm going to tell Billy I want another match with my girls against the Hex. But this time with a stipulation. Because I know you don't want to give it to me. I know they didn't say that. But I'm having to fill in the blanks because we didn't get an interview to explain this. So my guess is they did this because they had to do something with Paula Blaze, had to do something with Genocide, and they have the match with the stipulation if they lose, they break up. Paula is the one who ruined it because you got Genocide who had the win, who had Marty, but Paula wanted to get the fame. She wanted to get the prestige. She wanted, in her cute little thick ass self from Spain, she's a sexy Spanish woman or Spaniard woman, she wanted to have the recognition and the fame beating a Marty Bell. And she got rolled up so like gingerly and now it's over. Powerrr's no longer with Genocide. Genocide is done. She just had the look in her face. She's done. Fine, I'm finished. I'm done. Goodbye. And Terrence did not want her to go. She was hoping that this would bring them closer together and give them the title. It didn't work. This was the weakest match due to the fact that the women are not being spotlighted. They got no real storylines other than what happened with Camille. And I will get to her in a minute. But pretty much, we're not getting really anything more interesting. We're not. We barely seen the Hex, even if they've gone out of the country to defend the titles for the NWA. We've never seen it. This is what gets me. You got your women going overseas, if it's true, with the Hex. They wouldn't defend it in different promotions in different countries if they were able to actually leave. Or better yet, they went to other promotions in the United States and we didn't see it. And we don't see what it means to be the tag champs for the women. So I really don't have any feeling for it. I'm not saying I don't care about AK and don't care about Marty, but I didn't see anything. It's not like they're taking snippets from other promotion and show them like they did with Nick Aldis when he went overseas last year. I'm just saying. Now, the Junior Heavyweight Championship. Maybe I should do the interviews first. I should before I go here because there's something I got to say. Briefly, before I go to USA and give my final thoughts. We got Matt Cardona and the Cardona clan, except for a Chelsea Green not being there, saying, guys, I'm still champ. How I was treated was wrong. How my boys was treated is wrong. How my woman was treated is wrong. But I'm still your champ. I'm still always ready. And I am going to change I'm about to say AEW because it's like they needed Chelsea there. And you don't see her there. She should have been there because she was influential in giving the damn nut shot at the Crockett Cup. Because you had Nick and Mickie James there doing their interview. That's after the Crockett Cup. You had Double J do an interview. But where is Chelsea Green? She should have been there to be with a man, to be with Mike Knox, to be with VSK. It just felt like a person was missing. Was it done well? It was fine. But still, there you go. Then you got Jeff Jarrett. And he makes it very clear, look, I have been literally raised in wrestling. I literally grew up. The very first job I had was working in concession stands, and my dad, the real Jarrett, he doesn't say that, but that's what I'm saying. He taught me that the ref has the hardest job. We get no instant replays. We get no other people like in football. It's just you. And I don't like messing up. And when I got the nut shot, got hit in the groin, when I look back, there was Mickie James in the ring. I don't like making bad calls. I don't feel right about it. If I could ever correct it, I would do it. But there's nothing I can do. I got to go with what I see in the ring. And then you got Nick and Mickie James. Mickie James made it very clear, I love Jeff. I would never try to hurt him. But it is what it is. And you will pay Chelsea. Pretty much that's what she was trying to imply. Nick is a big question. Guys, as you know, if you saw my Impact review, I do believe that there's a possibility that Nick will end up having maybe a one-off on Impact TV. I think they will do a pay-per-view with Nick there because there's no way, and Mickie James is going to work by herself unless she's going to be paired with someone that's already on the Impact roster. You might get a Magnus who will be called Nick Aldis. There's no way they're going to call him Magnus. He will be Nick if they do it. But he makes it very clear that could be basically bleeding over to Impact TV. He says, I don't care where, I don't care when, I don't care how. I am going to get you. And it's not going to be to humiliate you. It's not going to be to disrespect you. I'm just going to tear you limb from limb. Your luck is all that you had to beat me. And I will get my title back. I will get my Charlotte. It's going to happen. Now, you wonder when, if they're going to say this, and will they talk about it on Impact TV, the Impact Zone. I'm just saying. Let me give it to you like this. When it comes to Jax Dean as national champion, it makes sense. They did book it pretty well. Not perfect, but he did book it. But due to the fact that I didn't see Anthony Mayweather win the title away from a Chris Adonis. That's unfortunate. I could not do it because I had Revolution and Sacrifice. I couldn't watch it. I feel like I'm missing something, which I am. Now, I know I can go and watch it again, but it's not going to be much to me at this point. Seeing Jax Dean acting the way he is makes perfect sense, and I'm fine with it. I just wish I could have been able to see it at the time if I didn't have to do Revolution and Sacrifice back to back. That's just how it was. Now, when it comes to a Tom Latimer and a Camille, strictly business is over. Done. Finished. But it makes it very clear. He does, she does. He don't need nobody but his woman. And her woman putting over a man saying pretty much, everyone in the locker room, you're on notice. You're about to deal with the most dominant couple there is. This man cannot be beat. This man does not need heavy weight holding him down. In other words, Chris Adonis. This is what you get. The power couple of Tom and Camille are supposedly going to run. The question is, will they book Tom to mean something? And will he finally win maybe what? I doubt he can go for the junior heavyweight title. He weighs too much. So he'll either go for the national title, the TV title, or the world title. And I can say this about what they're going to do with Tyrus, that I got to say it. Tyrus makes it very clear. You slam me, body slam me, I will give you a title shot. I don't know if that's better than what they had, the best of 7, where if you have 7 wins, you go after the champion. Honestly, I think they should keep that, but doing this, taking away from it for a while, that's okay. As long as eventually they go back to it and they eliminate the 6-minute limit. But due to the fact they only got 1 hour, I don't think they'll get rid of it, but that's just my point of view. Finally, the junior heavyweight title match of Homicide and Austin Aries. This was stemming what happened at the Crockett Cup. I did like this match a lot. This was the best match of all the show and the next show of USA. This was the best match. Flat out, I liked this more than any of the matches between USA and Powerrr. And I did notice something, and I'll explain it at the end of this review, but I will tell you this. I noticed something that explains a lot on why NWA, Impact, and probably MLW look like shit. And I'll explain it later. But if you want to watch anything between both shows, this is the match to watch. This match of Austin Aries and Homicide was the best match. On both shows, you can easily watch it and you can like it. I'm just saying. Now, let's go to USA and another junior heavyweight title match between Doug Williams and the Homicide. Now, Doug barely fit the criteria of 225. He was actually 224 and a quarter. He just fit the criteria because they only go from 225 and down. And they made it very clear during the match, which wasn't a bad match. Doug wasn't bad, and you could see Doug and the Homicide had a little bit of friendship. They fist bumping eventually until Homicide's going like, this guy's out wrestling me, I'm going to bite his ass. Which he did. But you could see that they wanted to make the junior heavyweight champion mean something, reminding people that the Junior Heavyweight Championship was created in 1945, and when NWA was founded in 48, is that they had only 2 titles. Now, I don't know where the Junior Heavyweight title came from, because if the NWA was formed in 48, but the titles, and that's the world title, and the Junior Heavyweight title, was created before that, 3 years before, which promotion were they in? Was that CCWC? I believe that was one promotion. That could be possible. Because there were promotions before NWA. As I've said, there were promotions in the 1920s, like the late 1920s, early 30s, that had been American promotions. It's just that NWA is the first true multi-organizational promotion that they have multiple promotions working in them, in it, or under it. You got the NWA, and then you got Mid-Atlantic, you had FCW, you had the WCCW, the WWF, I think it was in it at one point, I could be wrong. A lot of promotion was under the umbrella of NWA, brought together so their title would mean something, that people would get what they need. So I'm wondering, where was the title before that? Was it in what was it? CCWC, I believe that was a promotion, I believe, at one point. But I wonder. It was a good match, but it wasn't good as Aries and Homicide. It just wasn't. And I was not surprised Homicide won. They're not going to let him drop that for a while. They're not. He's a legend, and he is liked. So this is what you get. The second match was Marshe Rockett versus Jay Bradley. Now, I know I'm skipping around. I'm actually skipping Karen Morton, and I will get to him in a minute, but I want to talk about this one first. Due to the fact that it was a double disqualification, you wonder what's going to happen with Jax Dean now, because Jax Dean was expecting a challenger, even though he didn't want either one of them, because he felt neither one would deserve it. Now, Black G's tried to get Marshe Rockett to stay in the match because he did get beaten up good. But then once Bradley of the Fixers started shoving around the ref, they both got kicked out. They both got disqualified. So you wonder, what now? What now for Jax Dean? What about the national title? Who goes for it now? That's a good question. Now, Kerry Morton versus I can't remember the guy's name. I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. It's in Spanish. I pronounce Spanish names bad. And don't think just because I have a Spanish, well, my mother did give me my father's Spanish name. I wish she gave me her name. It would have been easier, but my name would have been ECW. Literally, my first initial of my first name, my middle name, and my last name would have been ECW. I'm not bullshitting. It's fucking true. I would have been called, abbreviated, ECW if my mother had just let me have her maiden name when she was no longer married, because my mother did divorce by the time I was, well, a little after I was born, because she didn't meet my father well before she was separated. I wish she gave me her name, because I would have been called ECW. That ain't no bullshit. That's the truth. If I actually said my full name with my mother's maiden name, you would understand why I would be called ECW. Damn it! But was this a good match for Kerry Morton? Yeah, it was fine. A good return match. But the question is, where is he going to go? How is he going to be positioned in junior heavyweight title now that it's here now? How are they going to book him? How about a Kobe Carino? Will they start showing more Kobe, him, and a couple other people to mean something for the junior heavyweight title? Will Austin Aries start showing up on Powerrr more? That's my question. I want to see that. This wasn't a bad show. And the new guy that's coming, I can't remember his name. Cobras? What is the guy's name? Cordair, I believe that's his name. I know I'm mispronouncing his name. I'm sorry. He has been in the business 27 years as a wrestler. He looks interesting. I've never seen him before. He looks interesting. Until I hear his name enough and see him enough to recognize his name and not botch it so bad, you will hear me say it correctly. I hate being me, that I'm so bad with names. But he looks interesting, and next week he's showing up on Powerrr. I do know that. Now, after all this, there's something I got to say. Were the two shows good? They were not bad. Powerrr was way better than USA. But this is something I noticed. That I'm going like, really? Could this really be how they do it? During the match of the first junior heavyweight match between Austin Aries and the Homicide, halfway through the match, I noticed something when the camera work was being done. Because if you see the camera work from Powerrr compared to USA, it is vastly better. Way better. And I'm going like, what the fuck is wrong with the production team? Again, they seem to botch it. Then I noticed something. I do know that this is actually possible to do. What I think has been going on with the camera work is not the production truck or the people in production. They will add in the graphics. They will insert any advertisement in the shows, and that will be for USA, for Powerrr, NWA stuff. I do believe this is also the same for when it comes to Impact and MLW and any other promotion. Even Hog, I believe, also has the same stupid weakness where you would wonder, why in the blue fuck would they do this? Because yes, it seems to be easier, cost effective, but if you don't have the right people doing it, it is fucking disgusting how the camera work works. Because, simply put, when you see the match between Austin Aries, when you see the match between Homicide, the cameraman, maybe I might not upload this as it is. I may just insert it here. You see the cameraman. He's trying to adjust his lens to try and get where he goes. Then you see the cameraman put his hand on the trigger of where you would think that's just where he's going to hold it to try and make sure that he's got a good grip on the camera. No. It is because he's switching cameras. I do know in production, for cameras, you can do this. One cameraman can switch between one camera to another easily. It can be done. Now, I'm not saying it's actually happening here, but the way that looked, so instant, that the moment he put his hand on the handle, he goes like this, the camera switched to the hard cam. Instantly. Instant. It is like he was controlling, at least from his perspective, the hard cam and his side of the ring. Now, it doesn't mean that the camera on the other side doesn't also have a camera with the guy with a lens, and he doesn't have a switch that when it's his turn, where he thinks it's necessary, he doesn't have the ability to switch the camera as well. Now, it does not mean that it's actual. I could be wrong, and they actually have an area for production that allows the switching between one to another. But when you look at the camera work of Powerrr compared to USA, how bad the camera is focused in like this, and then the switching is so disgusting because he switches from one moment to another way too quickly. And that happens over in Impact Wrestling as well. You wonder, are the cameramen are the ones who does production for Impact Wrestling and NWA? You wonder if instead of they actually having 3 or 4 cameras controlled, and there's an area where they are working where a person literally is sitting in front of a bank of switches where they're watching 3 or 4 camera angles on 3 or 4 screens, whether they're old tube cameras, tube TVs, or digital flat screen TVs, that someone is actually switching it properly to make sure that the camera angles are done correctly. I know for a fact it is possible that a solid camera, if you're holding it like this, that if you need to, you can rig up a switch that the person that's controlling that camera can also switch to another camera, or give a cue that someone needs to switch. That can be done. I'm just hoping I'm wrong and it's not the cameramen who are doing the full switching between one camera to another, because if that's true and they're doing it as a cost-effective means, it's the most stupidest bullshit you can do. You can say a lot about AEW, and I know that there's several people who watch my show. watch this review going to say, I hate AEW, I hate WWE, don't mention them to me. Well, guess what? I'm going to mention one aspect of both. You got two companies who understands presentation for the people at home. Because as much as you want to make sure their asses in the seats in a venue, you got to care about the people at home seeing your product correctly. As I've been saying for years, you don't want this. Look at my fucking face. You want to see me? Please. You want to see all of this. Even when you can see all of that this is not a great set I'm in, but at least you can see where I am. You can see this. You see this, which makes you see I'm a wrestling fan. I'm a wrestling fan. I'm at least know something about what I'm saying. How the fuck are you going to be able to see anybody if they're this close? Guys, presentation is everything. If you don't give presentation correctly for people at home, no matter if they say, it ain't that bad, I still enjoyed it. It's not the point about you. And it's not the point about me. The general audience of either other hardcore fans and casual fans are going to tune out if they can't see you properly. I'm just saying. And I hope you enjoy this. Leave a comment on what you think. Do you believe that they could be using actual cameramen to be backing up as people who decide to switch the cameras the way they are? Now, if you're someone who works in production of maybe the news or a TV show, tell me what you think. Peace.